Hello, welcome to Spotlight, all the light of a new season of creativity.
Spotlight, brought to you by the Isle of Man Arts Council.
This evening, we hear about this year's Easter Festival of Plays. Talk to poet and former Manx Bard Owen Atkinson about the launch of his second collection of work. Get the lowdown on this weekend's Shennaghys Jiu festival, and more from the newly appointed Biosphere Photographers in Residence. Remember, do get in touch with any creative artistic endeavours you might be involved in, planning, hoping to create, or would really like to put in the spotlight. This programme, of course, poems, theatre, music, literature, novels, ceramics, sculpture, drag, social media, calligraphy we've had. There are more. Just get in touch. Howard Kane at manxradio.com. Caine is the Kane, all one word, lowercase. Or just spotlight at manxradio.com in lowercase. Always read the emails. Be delighted to hear from you. And if you've got something you're going to be doing which is creative and might fall into the remit of this programme, get in touch and let's feature you. So Easter, just around the corner, of course, you can tell, as the Lindt Easter bunnies gradually disappear off the shelves to be replaced by the Lindt Christmas reindeer, ready for the forthcoming celebrations. And along with eggs, chocolate and occasionally snow, Easter on the island means, of course, the Easter Play Festival. The festival sees both one-act and full-length plays being performed by groups from on and off Ireland. And this year, not only is there a bumper crop, but also a special anniversary, as chair of the Manx Amateur Drama Federation, Sharon Walker explained to me.
For those of you who haven't heard, this is also our 75th anniversary year, so a very special week for us. We've been really, really fortunate in as much as the interest for this year has been tremendous in terms of entries. So we've had to actually put on afternoon sessions for our one-act play festivals this year. So over the course of the weekend, the Saturday and the Sunday, we have 8 plays over those 2 days, 2 in the morning and 2 in the afternoon each day. And then from the Monday through to the Friday, we have the full-length festival with 5 plays by companies from across the UK. So a real bumper-packed week for us.
And is it unusual to have so many plays? Because I know some years it seems feast or famine, doesn't it? Some years we seem to be struggling to get enough people to fill up the festival, and other years we're oversubscribed.
Well, I've been chair of the Drama Federation since before COVID, sort of 2018, 2019, and this is the first time we've been oversubscribed. So we started with 23 entries, and unfortunately this year, for the first time, certainly as I say, in my sort of reign as chair, we've had to say no to some people, which is a real shame, but it does mean that we have got some absolutely tremendous plays being performed this year.
And is there a broad mix again of plays?
Absolutely, and what's really lovely about our one-act plays, of the 8 plays that we have on, 4 of them are self-penned by local playwrights.
Marvellous.
And tackle subjects from as wide-ranging as from the memories from the Second World War right up to present-day mental health challenges. So, and some comedy and lightheartedness in between as well. So absolutely a full range of genres to look at. And then from a full-length play festival, we have comedies like Blithe Spirit and Hansard and Our Man in Havana. And then again, at the other end of the spectrum, a very poignant play called Holding the Man, which sort of shines a lens on the difficulties in the 1990s with same-sex partnerships and that sort of thing.
And for those who haven't been before, like I said, the 2 festivals are running concurrently, as it were. The one-acts are all local societies, and the full-length plays are normally the visiting teams. Any local teams in the full-act play? No,
and interestingly enough, it just so happens that it's happened to fall like that this year, because we did have entries for both the full-length from local teams and one-acts from teams from across. But what we tried to do when we were looking at what we would pick is we wanted to make sure that every team had an opportunity to perform where they can, because some teams had put multiple entries in. But also we looked at the genres to make sure that the audience got a really good mix of entertainment as well.
So if people want to go along, are there used to be season tickets? Are we doing a season ticket this year?
We are doing a season ticket this year, Howard, which is tremendous value. It but it's £81. And for those £81, you get to see 13 plays. It represents a saving of about £50.
Good value.
We also, so that's a full festival season ticket, but we're also offering a 3-night season ticket for £36, which again offers a saving of £12. So real value for money. If you are intending to come along, I would highly recommend that you look at one of those season tickets, because what tends to happen is you come along and see the first couple of plays and think, oh, actually this is really good, I'll come for the rest of the week. Well, actually, it would have saved you more money if you'd just bought the season ticket.
Just to get there in the first place.
Yeah.
And yes, at that price, I must admit, I don't know what that works out per play, but it's not a lot, it has to be said, for the number of plays you're going to be seeing. Adjudicator-wise, obviously the adjudicator, I assume, is lined up at this stage.
It is. It's a gentleman called Robert Meadows, who's adjudicated for us a few times. He's a fantastic gentleman, always enjoys coming to the Isle of Man, and is always very insightful with his adjudications and the advice that he gives to his team. So, and very entertaining for the audience as well. So I think he will also be somebody that everybody enjoys also.
And again, as you say, if you haven't been to one of these festivals before, you do see the play and then you see the adjudication at the end, which, and they are sort of positively critical, shall we say, and that obviously they're there to adjudicate, but they're not there to sort of chastise or whatever. It's make suggestions maybe about how things could be done differently or in a different way and such like.
Absolutely. I'm speaking from my own experience, I've learned a lot from listening to adjudications, and often if your play then goes on to another festival, incorporating some of the suggestions and feedback that you've received from the adjudicator is actually really important. And again, in my experience, has actually given us success in subsequent rounds in competitions as well. That it's all meant to be a positive experience, particularly for people who are new to directing or acting or writing. This is all about encouraging new people to come into theatre and develop their skills.
And so where do the plays go from here? Because it is a festival, it is a competition, there is an adjudicator, so the winners normally then can go on to another competition in the UK?
Absolutely. So there are 2 opportunities actually for us, particularly in the one-act festival space. So if you're a winner here, you're automatically invited to the All England Theatre Festival Northern Regional Final, which then you can go to the All England and then the All UK. But if you score over 90 points in your play adjudication here, regardless of whether you win or not, you're then invited to go to the British All Winners Festival. And last year we had 3 plays who were eligible, which was fantastic. And out of the 3, service players were able to take Babysitting Calvin and had a tremendous experience that weekend.
So plenty to see. It's, like I said, it's a competition. It has that sort of added air of excitement about it. We could probably spend all day talking about how you adjudicate plays and such like, which is a different debate altogether, but it's great fun. It's done in a positive and team-like spirit, I think, throughout, and there's normally great support amongst the teams as well, albeit they're sort of in competition with each other, but there's good team spirit. How do people get along? So they want to have a season ticket, they want to get an individual ticket or something. Where do they go?
Usual Villa Gaiety outlets at the Welcome Centre, online, or down at the Villa Gaiety itself. Obviously we'll have tickets available on the door as well, but we'd really like to know that people are coming to see these fantastic plays. As I say, there's really a great choice this year, and I say every year something for everybody, and truly there is this time.
Get along and support live theatre if you can. As Sharon says, always a wonderful mix. If you don't like the look of one play one day, there'll be another one the next day or so. There you will. And it's always interesting to hear the adjudicator's comments on the plays.
Spotlight, brought to you by the Isle of Man Arts Council.
Before the Easter Play Festival, of course, this very weekend, in fact, is the wonderful celebration of traditional music and dance festival, which is Shennaghys Jiu, or I believe that translates as Tradition Today, encouraging young people in particular to have not just an interest but an enthusiasm and pride in their musical culture. Organiser Ewan Garrett took 5 minutes out of his hectic schedule to give us the details.
Hello, my name's Ewan Garrett. I'm the chairman of Shennaghys Jiu Festival. It's happening in Ramsey this coming weekend. and we've got lots of things in store for us as we move forward throughout the whole weekend. So we're really lucky and really fortunate to have a whole range of visiting musicians and dancers, and again, all our local musicians and dancers joining us for the weekend. So the whole event kicks off on Thursday night with our official opening at Ramsey Town Hall, where we welcome some of our visiting guests, but more importantly, our sponsors to the event. And we really thank them once again for all their continued support and helping them make sure the festival takes place. So Shennaghys Jiu is back, and we're back with some new groups, some old groups, and some groups that really have taken the festival by storm over the last few years. So on Friday, our visiting groups will take a trip round our local schools in the north of the Isle of Man and a few of our care homes around the north too, and they'll perform a selection of displays, music and dance, and entertain the children and get them involved as much as we can with the festival. Although the festival really kicks off tomorrow night, the official opening, the children of the northern schools have already participated in the festival by providing artwork. And in the town hall, we have a great display of all our budding young artists and all the beautiful work that they're doing in school at the moment. So there's an exhibition in the town hall with all that artwork display on, and that runs to the beginning of next week. The festival has been going since 1998, and in that time, we have welcomed many, many new faces to the island and gained a great following and built up a great friendship across the Celtic world, and again encouraged many of our young local people to take part in Manx culture around the Isle of Man. And that job has really been down, and thankful to all those people that have been involved in the festival and involved in Manx culture for many, many years. So we're really, really fortunate that there's a great following on the Isle of Man and a great understanding of how important it is for young people to be involved in these events and take part and feel like they're part of something really special. So over the weekend, there's lots happening. We've got Kaylee's in the Masonic Hall in Ramsey on Friday, Saturday and Sunday night. On Sunday afternoon, we've got a big concert at Peel Centenary Centre with some of our great visiting musicians will be playing, and a local group too. So we have Jerry O'Connor here from Ireland, and we have the Hegarty School of Irish Dance and Killarney School of Musicians performing there, and local group T-Val under the guidance of Katie Lawrence. So lots and lots happening over the weekend. If you want something free and just a little bit more chilled out, all day Saturday there's displays and events happening around Town Hall and around the courthouse in Ramsey, and an artists and craft fair in the Masonic Hall. So there's loads and loads of things happening. If you really want to have a look out, check out our social pages on Facebook for Shennaghys Jiu, or go to shennaghys.org for our website, which will have all the programmes of events. So if you haven't been before and you'd like to be involved, come and have a look. And if you've been before, we look forward to seeing some familiar faces. So we look forward to the weekend. It's a busy weekend as ever, and we hope the sun continues to shine. Thank you to all our sponsors once again, and to Manx Radio for helping us plug a little bit of the event. Gurmai Moyo.
And you know what? I think they're actually going to have some nice weather for those activities by the courthouse in Ramsey over the weekend. Check out some Shennaghys Jiu this weekend. You won't be disappointed no matter what you see. We were talking to Owen Atkinson the other week here on Spotlight, a Spotlight regular. Just email, by the way, spotlight@manxradio.com if you've got any artistic events coming up or an interesting creative project we could feature on the programme. Owen wears at least two hats when it comes to Spotlight. One hat with a wig underneath in his drag alter ego Fenella Beach, with all the drag activities happening on the island. The other as a well-known local poet and, of course, bard. Not the current bard, of course. That's Jordan, but once a bard, always a bard. He's just about to release his second collection of poetry work, and he dropped by the Spotlight studio to tell me more. We spoke about, I've forgotten now. We did do the launch of the first book. When was that? A year ago?
That was about a year ago now. Yeah.
Coming out, and the first collection was called?
It was called Nature's Real and So Am I.
And at the time you said, I have a second collection which will be coming out next year. Here we are then, second collection coming out, which is entitled?
Rose Petals in the Bathwater.
Good name. Where'd that come from?
So this one is very much... The first book was kind of based in... Obviously, nature is in the title. Was based in kind of the place and like associating myself with the island and like the space around me. Whereas this one is much more internal and it's kind of more about relationships and it's emotionally driven. So I think of the poems as the rose petals in my bathwater, and like they're all poems. this might not be a universal experience, but whenever I have a bath, it's quite a emotional experience. I get into my feelings. I listen to music. I have a glass of wine.
Yeah, I do all the above.
It's indulgence, right? And so these poems are some of which I did write in the bath, or all of which I could have written in the bath. It's kind of a through line there as well.
And so, were the two sets or the two collections ready simultaneously? Did you say? Has this collection sort of followed on, or did you basically have them more or less ready to go at the same time?
So I had most of the poems that were in this collection I had when I published the last one. There's a few new editions, but I very much wanted to keep a narrative through line within the collections. So, when I write poetry, I don't think I'm writing this to go in a collection, right? I'm thinking I'm writing this poetry because it's what I want to write, and it's because potentially what I want to perform here and there, at open mics, etc. But then the process of thinking of wanting to publish, I had to kind of create some kind of vision, and I found that my poetry tended to be more in these two different kind of camps, right? In this kind of like emotional relationship, self-reflection given space, and then one more about like the place around me. So so I had most of the poems already, but a few of them have been written since then and adapted, and I'm always adapting and editing and adding and creating new.
And is it a clear differentiation in your head then when you're sort of writing them or thinking about them or thinking about themes or ideas for poems coming in? As you say, there's these two very different sort of genres. The one, and again, we've often heard you reading pieces very much inspired by the environment and being out on walks and nature and the Isle of Man, and then the other part far more to do with your own sexuality, your own relationships, sort of much more sort of personal. Are they sort of different compartments in your head, do you think, or?
It's all just poetry to me, quite honestly. I mean, it all just comes out as it goes. I mean, there is crossover as well. I mean, there's a couple of pieces that I had to decide kind of which direction I was going to take them in. So it's not necessarily compartmentalized when I'm writing. I mean, I'm writing because I want to be, and I'm writing because I feel driven to share something. And that can come in lots of different directions. So I don't necessarily know when I'm writing which way it's going to go. I just kind of feel and do, and it comes out and it creates and it goes in its direction, and then we can figure out where that is later.
And are you sort of spontaneous with these? Is it a case of here's something, woof, out it all sort of splurges in one? Or you thought again that you were saying you might write something in the bath, you sort of jot down ideas as you're going out, maybe you're at work, maybe you're going for a walk in the countryside, maybe you're for a night out, you're in bed, whatever, and something, that thought comes into your head, I'll make a mental note of that, I'll make a note on my phone or whatever, and then develop it later.
Yeah, I tend to create, I don't often write an entire poem within the moment, just because, I mean, like, poetry is a craft, right? And there's lots of different elements to it. You want to create structure, rhythm, potentially rhyme. You want to kind of make what you're writing coherent and feel like it's saying what you want it to say. So often in the moment I'll have the idea, I'll have the spark, and I'll try and capture it in some small way, and then we can work on it later, normally. And
do you have a sort of a set or a favourite sort of way of writing? Do you tend to favour the free verse for certain pieces, or do you ever like to go into something more traditional or into rhyme or doggerel, whatever the case may be?
I tend to write in free verse, and then I find that if specific rhythms and rhymes want to come out, then they will, and then I'll kind of follow them. So if I find that I'm writing and, this is creating something, let's follow that. This is creating a rhythm here, let's follow that. Sometimes I inadvertently create a rhyming couplet, and then I think, okay, maybe this section of the poem can rhyme, and maybe we can add some more in. But it's generally free verse, and then we can figure it out from there.
So the launch is the 13th of April. Is it in Laxey again, did you say?
Yes, at the Laxey Working Men's Institute this time. So I'm very lucky to have LitFest working with me. So they're helping me with the organisation of it. And they're putting all the it's a free event, but you can register your spot at the on the LitFest website. And they're helping me with the organisation of it all. And obviously, yes, of course, there's the connection with the Arts Council as well, because they funded the printing of the book. And then LitFest, I think, are actually using some funding from Culture Vannon as well. So it's a beautiful, wonderful lot of support coming my way. But yes, 13th of April, that's a Sunday at 4 p.m. In Laxey at the Institute.
Okay, and I could say people want to go along, they go to your socials or?
Yes, so they can see it through, they can search my name, Owen Atkinson, find details on my social media, or it'll be all over Manx Lit Fest as well. So that's you'll be able to find all the details.
And could we hear perhaps a piece from the latest collection?
Absolutely, yes. So I've got the book right here in front of me. It's not it's not in any shops yet, but it will be soon from the launch. So I'm going to read this poem. I guess a bit of context. I wrote this. I have eczema on my hands, and it kind of dictates quite a lot of my life. So this poem is called Flare. Acrid ground cracking under desert sun. Tectonic plates slopping around in wet grease. Decay, excavating your epidermis. Blood mist rising too close to the surface. Flesh both too tight and too loose. Sewing puckered seams with broken needles. Split capillaries, scarlet sinews. Rose thorns, poisoned garlands. Curdled blancmange, wrinkled and deformed. My body is breaking down. I stretch the gaps between my fingers. Plica interdigitalis. Oily pus bubbles and bursts. I stare at the cheese grater, imagine shredding my fingers to the bone. Expose the white brick, red mortar. I long for fresh growth, renewal, rebirth. Everything I own is slick with grease, and I can see through the page in opalescent splotches. It's embarrassing to be betrayed by your own skin. Popping candy flesh, fizzle and fry, rose blush topography, oil slip sweat, a tragic chemical spill that kills all the fishes. Should I submerge myself in ass's milk like Cleopatra? Peel back the layers and see what lies beneath.
Wow, super personal that one, as you say. With do you find it something you can, using your poetry, is it a good way for you for dealing with, the problems life throws us?
Absolutely, yes. I mean, I journal anyway. I write my diary every day, and poetry is a form of journaling for me as well. I know this sounds strange because I'm here promoting my new poetry book, but I don't write with the purpose of sharing. I write with the purpose, first and foremost, of processing. And then what comes out, we can see what we can do with that. Yeah.
Collection launched on the 13th of April and will be available then online in bookshops. Where can people get a copy?
Yes, they'll be able to find it through my social media online and also at Bridge Bookshops and also at Mother Teas in Lexi.
The island has a vibrant poetry scene, of which Owen is a very active part. Grab a copy of his second work and check out his latest. And of course, he's oft performing, so you might catch him live around the Isle of Man. Finally, we heard recently about the launch of the new Manx Wildlife Trust UNESCO Biosphere Photographer in Residence role on the Isle of Man, the inaugural position being taken by the collective of Ciara Hardesty and Adam Morgan, a photographer and a videographer. We heard from them and Head of Engagement at Manx Wildlife Trust, Graham Makepeace-Warne, about their work and the position itself. And before they left the studio, I asked if there was anything we could look out for in the imminent future.
I guess we're coming into a stera, which is... there's going to be a lot more colour, I guess, coming back into the island. So probably there's going to be a lot more focus on floral flowers and trying to link that into some sort of folklore elements as well.
Like it?
Probably still need to brainstorm a little bit exactly how we're going to weave it all in together. But
portraiture focused.
Yeah, portraiture focused. I think at the end of this, through the workshops, it'd be great to capture people in the natural environment and also include that in our final exhibit of our work. So it's kind of like people in nature is the focus, I guess.
And then going forward through the $1 million question, I guess, is where can people see the work?
Yeah, so we were deciding we're going to do some vlogs about our trips out and what we're learning with Wildlife Trust, and probably monthly we were thinking.
Yeah, well, I'm always posting on Instagram, so people can always follow what we're doing through that. And then I guess we were looking at the final exhibit would be, because we wanted to keep the historical thing, we wanted some stone walls and stuff, so you've been speaking to Russian Abbey, maybe like Castle Rushen or somewhere that's got some sort of historical.
Yeah, I went to Russian Abbey yesterday to have a tour around to see if it was suitable for an exhibition, and I think it would be quite a good location. It could work, and it's a nice vibe in there, rather than sterile white walls.
Absolutely. And Graham, again, these two working together now with the photographer in residence and the artist, have you noticed, again, you work in engagement. Do you think this has made a difference over the last few years you've been involved with people getting more involved and understanding more about the biosphere?
Yeah, I'm personally really interested in creativity and culture, and I think the thing that all these guys bring is that creative view of things that just really helps bring people into that story, whether that be the story of nature in the Isle of Man or whether it be the story of our culture or history. It all just creates a really nice atmosphere for people to get to know the island better. And I've got loads of respect for these two. And it's interesting what Kira was saying about AI, because I'm guilty of that. I sit at my desk in the office and I've got to do an article for the magazine. I'll just AI that image. And I'm denying myself the chance to go out and be in nature and take photos. And I work for the Manx Wildlife Trust. That's insane, isn't it?
Take good photos. I've seen them,
Well, thank you. But that's the modern world, isn't it? Everything is designed supposedly to make our lives easier. But is it making our lives better? Are we denying ourselves that ability to go out, spend time in nature and just look at the place where we are? It's all about people and place.
We look forward to seeing more of their work over the year ahead. Don't forget to check them out online, where, as Kira says, they're regularly posting. That's about it for now. I'll be back next week when I'll tell you about the Untold Orchestra, among other goodies. See you then. Whatever you're doing, be creative about it. Himo.